Hey guys, what's going on? It's Elder J, Old McWaller. So, I want to talk to you guys today about some seeds. Okay, I want to clear up um, some misinformation that you might have, or answer some questions that you might be having. Okay, now for me personally, I only use organic and heirloom seeds, and that's because I try to grow organically. Um, However, for you, you don't really have to go that way. Okay? There's nothing really wrong, and you can still grow organically without growing using organic and heirloom seeds, as we'll get into it. So, first, let's talk. Most people, when they talk about growing organic, is because a lot of times there's this big hype on GMOs, and so when they go to get seeds, they're looking for this organic because they're afraid that if it doesn't say organic, then that means it's GMO or genetically modified. So that's what GMO stands for, genetically modified organisms. So let's clear this up firstly. You cannot buy seeds like this that are GMO. GMO seeds are strictly for sold to larger farms and larger food manufacturing companies, to be able to grow things that's going to be going into like cereal and foods that you may be buying in the grocery store, not for the home gardener. So none of the seeds that you purchase in the store is going to be GMO. So if you go to a store and you're wondering, is this GMO seeds? No. If you see any kind of packet with seeds, that is not going to be GMO. Okay. Now, um, the other things you might see hybrid. You might see organic. You might see heirloom. When you see these, what exactly does that mean? That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so hybrid. Um, well, let's talk about organic first. Organic just really means if you're talking about seeds, organic means that the parents, where these seeds came from, they were grown using organic methods. That means they were not fed chemical fertilizers, they were not fed pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. So they were grown using organic methods. Now, do you have to purchase, if you're saying I want to be an organic grower, I want to grow organically, do I have to buy seeds that actually have organic on them? No, you don't. See that cost there? Most times they're going to charge you more for these seeds, and you actually don't have to do it. Now I am the guy that's always watching when these bad boys go on sale. So when these drop down to 50 cents from $1.89, I'm going to buy them. Okay, that's so all of these. I don't ever buy seeds at full price. Well, in the store anyway. So there's many types of these that you might see. I got these guys from this Seeds of Change. They have a website and you can order directly from them, but I normally see them at Whole Foods. If I see them at Whole Foods on sale, I go and grab them, right? Um, they just mean that the parents were grown in an organic manner. It really depends on you, though, because if you're not going to grow in an organic manner, if you're going to just use chemical fertilizers, your Miracle Grows and those other things, then it doesn't matter how the seed was. It's the entire process that makes something organic. Also, even if the seed was not grown organically, it's just the seed. If it was just a regular seed, it's a regular pack that doesn't have organic on it, but you are growing in an organic manner, then it doesn't matter that the actual seed says that it's organic or not. So don't worry about that unless you get it on sale. Now, the reason why I really go for organic and heirloom is because because the parents were grown in an organic fashion, that means they were not given chemical fertilizers and pesticides and things of that nature. Theoretically, this may not be true, but theoretically, in my mind, since I'm going to be growing the same way, I figure that these seeds will be best suited for my style of growing. If this is just a normal, regular seed, they could have been given pesticides. They might have been given chemical fertilizers, and they might be expecting that. But these, they were not given that. They were used to compost and manure and chicken scraps and things like that for growing. So that's what they were used to, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So therefore, theoretically, I get these. Okay, so but you guys don't have to do that. It's all about the method that you're going to be doing afterwards. Are you going to be putting this in chemical potting soil? Then don't get the organic, just get the regular. Okay, now Hybrd, that's another one that you're going to see. I don't have any hybrids, but let me tell you, Hybrd is just, if you take two plants, let's say tomatoes, right? You got one red tomato and you got another red tomato. This one red tomato over here tastes amazing. The problem with this one is it's susceptible to disease. You got this tomato over here, doesn't taste all that great, but it's heavily disease resistant. What farmers would do would try to mate these two species of tomato so that they can come up with the perfect tomato that tastes good and is disease resistant. Okay, if they're able to do that, that is called a hybrid. Now, when you purchase seeds that say hybrid, that means that process was done in a laboratory or a highly controlled environment, because they couldn't let any other things get in the way of that process. So it was highly controlled. The advantage of that is you get this perfect growing tomato, and that's going to be disease resistant and taste good. The disadvantage is, if you took this tomato and at the end of the season you rip this tomato open and it has seeds in it, if you took a seed out of that and placed it in the ground for next year, or next year you took some of those seeds and placed it, you could not reproduce that same tomato that you had the previous year. Because what's going to happen is they don't reproduce after its kind, because it was spliced together basically. When you plant that again, you're either going to get that nasty disease resistant tomato, or you're going to get the good tasting disease susceptible tomato, or you may get something else random that you have no idea about. Okay, so that's one of the disadvantages. The other disadvantage is, when you see hybrids even cost more than your organics or your heirlooms. Now, normally they may have the same price on there. Again, I don't have a hybrid to show you. They may have the same price on there, but what they do is they'll put less seeds in the pack. So basically you are paying more for them because it costs more to actually produce them. Okay, now my favorite and what I recommend is Heirloom Seeds. Now, Heirloom Seeds, what heirloom means is basically this is a old standard, an old variety of seed. That means a lot of these, when you're talking about heirloom, these are tested, tried and true, generation after generation after generation. There's a lot of different definitions people may give over heirloom seeds, but most of them will say that the seed has to be at least 50 years old. And when I say 50 years old, remember I told you guys about the hybrid. You couldn't plant that same seed the next season and get the same product. Well, in heirloom, you can. That means if you take that perfect red tomato, if it was an heirloom tomato, when you keep the seeds for that tomato, you can replant the seeds and get the same exact product year after year. That's why it takes so long. The farmers have found these things and they have groomed these things and bred these things to be a standard for a long period of time. Most of the heirlooms were even grown before, you know, these chemical fertilizers and products were even available. So again, for somebody like me, if, you know, these tomatoes or this spinach was this is an heirloom, was grown before, you know, the chemical products and everything like that. What did these farmers used to do? This one here, this spinach is, zoom in, this is from 1925. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, 1925. That's this bad boy right here, 1925. And I got ones older. I got some 1800 plants in the back there, right? So these bad boys were grown before heavy chemical fertilizers and pesticides and all that. What was this plant used to getting? It was used to getting compost, used to getting manures, used to getting, you know, worm castings and things of that nature. So when I'm only doing that in my garden, I know this is going to work in my garden, all right? So I recommend heirloom, but again, it doesn't really matter what seed you buy. It really matters your process of growing. Okay, so I hope that clears up the definitions of what these things are. Now, let me show you guys. Now, you can get them anywhere. I just uploaded a video where, see this brand here, I got this American seed or whatever. I got 4 of these. Now, it says 99 cents, but I got these bad boys for $1. So I got this, and I got 3 other different types of heirloom seeds, and I only paid $1 for all 4 of them together. All right, I just uploaded a video before this one where I was actually in the dollar store looking for these things. So you can get heirloom seeds anywhere. The thing is, now you can't really buy, when you're going into stores, right, to buy seeds, you're going to run into, I mean, you're only going to get the basics. You know what I mean? Every now and then they'll give you a little something, like, you know, you might get a yellow tomato instead of a red or something like that. But really, you're going to get the basics. You're going to get the basic spinach. You know, you're going to get the basic squash. But if you really want to step your game up and look for multiple varieties, then I recommend ordering from catalogs and places like that, because then you can find varieties of vegetables that you wouldn't find in your big box stores. Now, I recommend 2 places. Now, for you, you know, again, you don't have to do this, but if you're like, look, I want to get some exotic seeds and some stuff like that, I recommend 2 places. I started with these guys, and I've never had a problem. Bountiful Gardens, they're in California. You can go on their website and say, send me a catalog, and they send you a catalog for free. And you can go, but they also have a website, so, you know, if you don't have to get the paper or whatever like that. But I actually like receiving my catalog at the beginning of the year, because it kind of gives me that, hey, it's time to get started, right? So I like getting the catalog, and they have sometimes some good articles in here and everything like that. So, you know, they have different varieties that are pretty good. Now, when we're talking about, remember I told you guys to know what your zone is and things like that. See, you can, when you're buying from a catalog and places like that, they will actually tell you sometimes this plant grows better in warm weather, or this one likes cold climate but can handle a little bit of heat. that gives you an opportunity to purchase certain things that is best for your environment. That's another thing. See, when I go into the big box Walmart store and grab these, it doesn't tell me that these grow better in Georgia than they do in Philadelphia. I mean, in Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? But when I go to these sites and look up these guys, I can actually purchase a squash that'll work better for me in Pennsylvania. If you know, so that's one of the guys I like. The other people I like, Baker Creek, Heirloom Seeds. I love these guys. Now this guy right here, when you look at their, I'm not knocking them because I do love them. I started with them and I still roll with them, but they're like a little newspaper, you know, that monochrome color and all that good stuff. These guys here, they send you the most beautiful catalog. Colors just pop. It's just an amazing, amazing catalog. This is just wonderful, and it's absolutely free. You get on their mailbox, and every year their mailing list, and they send you one of these bad boys every single year. So I love these guys. I actually this year, because they had it on sale, I bought Baker Creek's Big Book, their whole seed catalog, which, you know, this here and this here will not show you everything that they have to offer. If you want to see everything that they have to offer, you go to their website. This actually has all of their seeds in it. And it also has some articles and things of that nature inside of here. So I really love these guys. Again, it's beautiful pictures everywhere. They got articles about everything. They're showing you, different types of tomatoes. This guy produced this black, almost purple looking tomato. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looks like on the inside. They have all of that good stuff in here. So I definitely recommend Bountiful Gardens and Baker Creek to get your heirloom seeds. No matter what seeds you buy from these guys, they're going to be heirloom seeds, okay? And they are a little bit more expensive if you look at the price tag, but that's because they actually send you a lot more than you would get, in a burpee or something like that. They send you a good amount of seeds in their packets, okay? And once you purchase them, they're going to last you a few years if you do this next thing. Next thing I want to tell you, and this is it, storing your seeds. When you buy seeds, right, you're making an investment, especially if you're doing heirloom seeds and things of that nature. And this is one thing that rookies do. They'll buy seeds, okay, because I bought these seeds here for $1. What I'll do is I'll take the seeds out and I'll just throw the seeds out in the yard and see if they're going to grow or not. Man, squash seeds are huge. I only need to use 2 or 3 of these bad boys. And that's it. What am I going to do with the rest of them? You know what we're going to do with the rest of them? We're going to save them and properly store them so that we can use them again. First thing I do when I get seeds is I put them in Ziploc bags. Now, I don't go and spend a lot of money on these Ziploc bags. I go to the dollar store and get the dollar store brand Ziploc bag, right? The next thing you want to do is get you either a plastic box like this, or get you a shoe box, or those tin-like boxes, and you want to just put your seeds inside of there, and that's how you store them. So that's how I store my seeds. Now, I'm not going to put this in here because I have these in a specific order, but that's how you get them. That's how you keep them. And if you just keep them dry and keep them in a nice cool spot, I normally just keep them on my bookshelf back there, right? It's away from the heat. And, my house is at a regular temperature, so it's not a big deal. And these bad boys will, I can grow 4 or 5 years off of these seeds. Okay? So that's it. That should give you everything that you need to know about your seeds. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know.